Many brand owners struggle with setting up and structuring their ad account on Meta. While there are multiple methods, we believe our approach is the most effective. By leveraging Meta's advanced machine learning capabilities, we align with their platform and algorithm for optimal results. In this video, I'll share our current go-to ad account structure. But before we jump in, who am I and why am I qualified to tell you all this information? My name is Iradia and I'm the founder of IDMA, which is a growth consulting and management firm for e-commerce and direct-to-consumer brands. At IDMA, we simply help e-commerce brand owners scale their e-commerce brands to multiple 7 figures or 8 figures a year by implementing our growth infrastructure into their businesses and managing it on their behalf. In other words, we partner with brand owners and take care of the marketing and sales department within their business to make it inevitable for them not to achieve profitable, predictable, and sustainable growth with their brand. Right. So now we're gonna move on to testing, launching ads, right? Now I'll be going through how you can launch and test these ads that we have just created on Facebook, brackets Meta. In terms of ad structure, we are going to keep things extremely simple with only one campaign and 2 different ad sets. Now, we do this essentially, but obviously we might do a few more things, right? But for the sake of this training and to make things as simple as possible, right? Which is what you should be doing anyways, right? But just to make it as simple to understand as possible, I'm gonna make it very simple. 1 campaign, 2 ad sets, right? Very simple, right? Now, we use a CBO, campaign budget optimization for campaigns, set optimization event to purchase. And also one thing I want to mention as well is like, I know it's going to be a lot of marketers using different ways, different structures, and different complicated ways to do things. The reality is, what we're about to go through today is the best practices according to Meta. Like I'm not here to debate what ad account structure is the best or not. I'm just gonna tell you exactly what Meta is advising people they should do. You can do what you want. I've seen marketers talk about different methods and different ad account structures. The reality is, they may work, but this is how Facebook or Meta wants you to do it. That's what I'm about to go through today, right? And Meta, right now, they're pushing for simplicity. So I wonder why, right? They're pushing for simplicity, right? So you can look at other videos and you might think that, yeah, it has to be complicated. It doesn't, right? If you see a marketer trying to make this more complicated than it needs to be, just know that he's trying to confuse you. He's just trying to confuse you. That's the reality of the situation, right? But anyways, I don't want to, rant about that. So no need to make things complicated. When should you create a separate ad campaign? Because I get this a lot. I get people, when we do free consultation calls, I get this question asked a lot, right? So I'm going to answer it just right here. Create a distinct ad campaign for each, right? So country, business objective, product or offer, sales event, right? And I don't see gender. So if you have a brand app, if you're gonna create a campaign for a product that's specifically targeting women, you should create a different ad campaign for that, right? So for men or women. So if you're doing it specifically for men, do just a campaign for that, right? So you have to create a different campaign for country, business objective, product or offer, each product, different campaign, sales event. So if you're doing Valentine's Day, Black Friday, Cyber Monday, different campaign, right? And gender, right? Those are the only times that you should be doing different ad campaigns. Now, you could create more ad campaigns for different cases, but this is what I would advise, right? For these 5 different cases, right? 1 ad set, you can call whatever you want. We would call it winning ad set. Again, you can name it whatever you want to call it. But for this example, we want to call it winning ad set, right? Just to make things simple. This is a winning ad set, right? Winning ad set is where we put all the ads that are absolutely crushing it. Now, the second ad set, we'll call it DCT1. Again, we are doing dynamic creative tests, so we call it DCT1, right? DCT1 is an asset we will use for our dynamic creative testing to find another winning ad that we can then add to the winning ad set. There's a lot of ad, right? But with the dynamic creative test, we're trying to find an ad variation that can be added to the winning ad set, right? Dynamic creative testing allows us to test multiple ad elements like ad copy, primary text, ad headlines, ad concept headlines, hooks, and ad creative variations at once, right? So it makes testing efficient. Of course, you don't have to do DCT. That's what Facebook wants you to do. That's what I would advise you to do, right? But you don't have to, right? So I want to make this very clear. Like, I'm not saying this is the only way, but this is the best way, right? Because this is what Meta wants you to do, right? So because I'm not here to argue which ad account structure is the best, right? So I'm just saying this is what Meta wants you to do, right? So now, here's a simple process. Choose a broad audience. We usually do 18 to 65. It couldn't be any more broad than that. I mean, 18 to 65, that's basically everybody, right? Country that we want to sell in, so that's wherever you sell in. If you sell in the US, Australia, or UK, wherever country you're selling in, you have to select that country, right? And like I said, you have to create a different campaign for each country. Right? So if you advertising in the UK and the US, you have to create 2 separate campaigns for that, right? Now, follow the 3-2-2 method. 3 ad creative variations, 2 different ad copies, and 2 different ad headlines, right? At IDMA, we advise brand owners with relatively small e-commerce brands not to advertise in more than one country because the complexity of international logistics can strain the relatively small operations. Obviously, this has nothing to do with ads, but this is just advice as a growth consulting and management firm. If you're relatively small, just focus on one country, right? Because once you start shipping to different countries, it can bring a lot of friction, or it can bring a lot of additional work that you don't need yet, right? You don't have the budget for it, you don't have the resources for it. Just start small and scale from there, right? One country, right? Now, they need to concentrate in one location first, right? Make sure everything's dialed in, and as they grow, the e-commerce brands, they can start expanding into different countries, right? That's what you said. So just focus on one market, right? And then once that works, you start scaling, and you have more resources, then you can focus on more in different markets, one by one, right? Of course, if you've never run ads, an ad before, you will not have winning ads, right? The 3 ad creatives under the DCT1 ad set will be created around the same core ad concept. You already know what an ad concept is because we went through it in the previous part of this training, right? So you already know what an ad concept is. But like I said, these 3 ad variations have to be around the same ad concept, right? The same mass market desire in mind, with the same mass market desire, the same market awareness level in mind, obviously, because you don't want to, right? The same sales angle, targeting the same market segment by highlighting a specific product benefit or feature that solves a pain point or satisfies their desire. You already know this because we went through this in the previous part, right? But each ad creative might have a small difference, usually different hook for video creatives or different ad concept headlines for image creatives. The 2 ad headlines and 2 ad copy should of course be associated or congruent with the 3 ad creatives. So when you're doing the 3-2 method, you have 3 creatives, 2 ad copy, and 2 ad headlines, right? Those 2 ad copy and 2 ad headlines have to be congruent, have to be aligned with the ad creative. They can't just be random headlines, right? They have to be aligned with the core ad concept, right? Because it should all be cohesive. It should all come from the same place, right? The messaging has to be cohesive, right? Congruent, right? By congruent, I mean that they should have the same core ad concept. I just said that. If we have run ads in the past for the e-commerce brand, instead of testing 2 entirely new ad headlines and then 2 entirely new ad copy, primary text, we can test the best performing ad headline and the best performing ad copy with the same core ad concept. Not just the best ad headline on the ad account. No, it has to be aligned with the core ad concept of the ad creatives that you're testing. You can't just randomly choose an ad concept that was built around a different ad concept, different desire, different target market, and use that for this test if it's not aligned with the core ad concept of these creatives. It has to be aligned. If it's not, don't do that, right? If we never run ads in the past, we could maybe test 1 new ad headline and 1 new ad copy alongside the 3 ad creative variations. You don't have to test 2 ad copy or 2 ad headlines, right? You can just do 1 of each, right? 1 new ad headline, 1 new ad copy, and 3 ad creatives, right? Diagram to illustrate what the structure of your ad account should look like if you follow this process. So this is what it should look like. Very simply, you have a winning asset. So you have a CBO, right? You have a CBO campaign, right? A campaign budget optimization. They have a winning asset and a DCT1. Very simple structure, right? Like, pay attention to the fact that we're not complicating this. This is very simple. This is what Meta wants you to do, right? Meta wants, think about it like this. Meta wants this process to be as simple as possible to get more people to advertise. If advertising becomes very hard, less people do it, right? Only a few people like us or a few others might do it, right? Because it's hard, right? But if it becomes easy, more people advertise, more people spend money, and Meta makes more money. So what do you think they want? Do they want it to be more complicated or easier? If it's easier, they make more money. So which one do you think they want? Obviously, they want to make things easier, simpler. So if you hear any marketer trying to complicate this ad account structure, just know that they're trying to confuse you. It doesn't need to be. Or maybe they're not up to date with the latest best practices that Meta wants you to follow. They're not up to date. They need to update their operating system because they're too slow. like they should be doing things simple. That's what Meta wants you to do, right? So campaign, winning ad sets, and TCT1 ad sets, right? Right. So 3 creatives, 2 ad headlines, 2 ad copy, right? The 3 ad creative variations that we're testing must be the same creative format. You should always use, if you're gonna test ads, video ads, all the variations have to be video ads, right? If you have an ad idea, all the ad variations from that ad idea should be all videos or all static images, right? You shouldn't be testing different like ad video and a static image, right? You can't be doing that. You should be doing all videos or all the variations should be static image ads. For example, if you're running an ad campaign, DCT for a single image ad, right, format, all variations should be image-based ads with the same dimensions and overall design, right? The creative format must remain consistent across all variations to maintain coherence and ensure accurate comparison of performance metrics. Again, if you're testing a video ad and a static image ad, you're essentially whatever results you get are insignificant. You don't really, because you don't know why the ad performed. Remember, we're not just launching ads to just see what works and what sticks and what gets us sales. We also want to know why it worked. And if you're doing different ad formats at once, you won't know why it worked. Why did the video ad work over the static image ad? Why? You don't know that, right? Was it the hook? Was it the ad concept headline? You're comparing hooks to ad concept headlines. You're comparing the video to a static image ad. Why did it work? You won't know. Like, you need to be testing. You can't be testing. It's like trying to test or compare apples to oranges. You can't compare apples to oranges. You either compare apples or you compare oranges. You can't compare apples to oranges, right? That's what you're trying to do. So you want to stick to, if you're gonna test ads, video ads, apples, then just test different video ads. If you're gonna test oranges, static images, just test different static images, right? Don't mix the two. Otherwise, you won't know why it's working, right? Now, that's quite simple. So practical example, if we're promoting a health and beauty brand specializing in hair products, our ads could feature a variety of images. A person with luscious, shiny hair after using your product, image, right? Before and after shots demonstrating the transformation of damaged hair to healthy hair, right? Before and after, right? Image. A close-up of your product lineup showcasing the natural ingredients, image. So that's an image as well. So these are 3 different ad creative variations, right? So all to do with the health and beauty brand, right? That creates products for hair, right? So they should all be images, right? Image, right? Or video. It shouldn't be image, video, image. Like, you shouldn't be doing that, right? Craft an ad concept headline to complement these visuals. So one ad concept headline could emphasize the nourishing properties of your products, promoting healthier and shinier hair. So revitalize your hair with nourishing care. That's the ad concept headline, right? Another possible ad concept headline could focus on highlighting how your products repair and rejuvenate damaged hair. So restore and renew. Say goodbye to hair damage, right? So that's another concept headline, right? Notice how both ad concept headlines are presenting the same core benefit in different ways. The sales angle of improving hair health is still the same, right? Because they're both trying to promote hair health, right? And revitalize your hair with nourishing care. The other one says restore and renew, say goodbye to hair damage. So they both ad concept ad headlines are presenting the same core benefit of improving hair health, right? And they speak to the same desire, the same mass market desire of achieving healthier, beautiful hair, right? Remember everything we went through on phase one, right? The mass market desire drives the demand for your product, right? Which is in this case achieving healthier, beautiful hair. The benefit is what appeals to different segments of your market, right? In this case, this ad headline is actually, this ad concept headline is just trying to improve or trying to appeal to people that want to improve their hair health, right? It's very simple, right? Now, moving on. Now, one last thing so that's how we set up the ad account structure essentially. Before I move on to the last part, let me emphasize this. So simple ad campaign, winning asset, and then DCT one, right? Obviously, if you have more budget, you can do more DCTs and more assets, right? That you're testing at the same time. If you have a higher budget, right? But so if you're a smaller brand, just focus on simple winning asset and DCT one at a time. If you have a bigger budget, you can do 2 different assets and 3 different assets at the same time, right? Alongside the winning one, right? And also something I want to emphasize here as well is the reason we have this ad account structure and we have one campaign and a winning asset and the testing, the other assets that we're using for testing, so the DCTs, is because we want to put every ad that we use to sell a given product in one campaign competing for ad dollars, right? You don't want to have, because I know some people have like this, and this is where we get into the discussion of different ad account structures. Some people have they have a testing campaign and they'll have like a scaling campaign. It's like, cool, that might work, right? But the thing is, you want all your ads that you're testing or that you have in your ad account, right, for selling this, a given product to be competing against each other. That way, the good ads steal all the spend and the bad ads don't get any spend. That's how it should be. Your ads should be, the ads that get you results should be the ones that get all your spend. And if they don't, you turn them off. We'll talk about optimizing ads in the next part, right? But I don't want to get into that too much. But the point is, you want all your ads in the same environment competing, right? Just to prove why they should be winning, why they should be added to the winning ad set, right? You want all your ads competing for ad spend. The best ad will take all the ads because obviously Meta will see, okay, cool, this ad's actually converting people. They should get all the spend, right? You want all ads in one environment competing for ad spend, right? You don't want, in my opinion, in my advice, you shouldn't be separate. You shouldn't have a scaling campaign and a testing campaign. You should have one campaign, right, per product, country, gender, what we spoke about earlier. So gender, and also so country, gender, products, and so you should have a campaign for each of those things, right? For each campaign objective and things like that, right? So and you should have an asset, a winning asset, and a DCT or DCTs, depending on how much budget you have, and all competing for spend. Winning ads get promoted to the winning ad set because they're performing well as a DCT. It's performing, so you get the winning asset, to the winning ad, you get the ad to the winning ad set. It's that simple. You shouldn't have a scaling campaign and a testing campaign, in my opinion, right? I know people can do that and make it work. Great, that's good for them. Meta wants you to do this, right? This is what Meta wants you to do, right? So so that's that. Now, last section of this part, right? One last thing worth mentioning here is that at the time of scripting this video training, Facebook Meta has released an update called the flexible ad format. What this means is that your ad account structure will change slightly, and you technically won't be able to select the DCT option at the asset level, right? Technically, it's still the same thing, but it's not at the ad set level, it's at the ad level now, right? Facebook Meta has essentially decided to move this DCT option to the ad level and give it a different name, the flexible ad format, right? And here is what your new ad structure will look like by the time I film this training. So let me zoom in here, right? So what you have now is you have a winning ad set, then you have an ad set for flexible ad format. So you have 2 ad sets now, right? Obviously some ad accounts might not have the flexible ad format, right? If you do, this is what your ad account should look like if you do have the flexible ad format, right? Because this is where Facebook is moving. This is what Facebook is moving towards, right? So you should have a winning ad set, and then you will have an ad set for flexible ad formats, and within this ad set you have all these quote unquote flexible ad formats, but they're really just DCTs at the ad level. It's the same thing but just at the ad level, right? But cool, you have 3 creatives, 2 ad headlines, and 2 ad copy, right? So instead of having it at the ad set level like we did here, instead of having a DCT as an ad set and having another DCT and another DCT, you have the DCT at the ad level, right? So you have it here, right? You have it here. So under one ad set, so you have one ad set that has all the DCTs. Instead of having one ad set as a DCT, another ad set as a DCT, now you have all the DCTs in one ad set, right? Now, but it still works the same way, because whatever works here, is it a winning ad? If yes, add the winning ad, and if not, kill the ad, right? So add the winning ad to the winning ad set, right? We add it here if it's a winning ad, right? So it still works the same way. It's just that the DCT is now at the ad level. It's very simple, right? So that's that, right? So that's what it looks like now. So ad set, flexible ad formats, different DCTs under it. That's it. But it works the same way, right? Nothing changes. Well, there are some changes. I'll show you now. Here's a side-by-side comparison of the 2 different ad account structures. So as I said, the old ad account structure, you would have to have 3. If you wanted to run 3 DCTs, you would have to have 3 different ad sets, right? Sent to you, which each had 3 creatives, 2 ad headlines, and 2 ad copy, right? And also you have the winning ad set here. So you have 1 ad set, 2, 3, 4. These are DCTs, and this is the winning ad set, right? This is where you add the winning ads, right? And then the new ad account structure, the way it works now, is that you only have 2 ad sets. You have the winning ad set and the ad set for the flexible ad format, right? And this flexible ad format ad set has 3 flexible ad formats, right, under it. So they have the DCTs within the ad set, right? Whereas before, the ad set was the DCT, right? Now the DCT is within the ad set, right? So it's at the ad level now. It works the same way, just a slight difference. So now you only have 2. If you have the flexible ad format in your ad account, this is how you should be structuring them. If you don't, stick to the DCT. Simple, right? So that's that. Again, if you guys want access to this document, I've said this multiple times, but if you want access to this document, DM us on Instagram the word resource, and we'll send it over to you, right? Because I know you might want to read back and read it at your own pace, right? There are only 2 differences between the 2 ad account structures, right? One of the differences you can easily see in the diagram I just showed you, right? Number 1, the old DCT ad account structure, you could do only 1 DCT per ad set, whereas now with the new flexible ad format ad account structure, you can have more than 1 flexible ad format in 1 ad set, like I just said, right? So you can have, instead of just having 1 DCT per ad set, now you can have as many DCTs as you want, right? Essentially under 1 ad set, right? And the second difference is within the new flexible ad format, you can test different ad creative formats, images and videos at the same time. Whereas with the old DCT ad account structure, you can test images only or videos only. Now, I still would advise you to just stick to videos only and images only. But it's worth mentioning that with the new flexible ad format, you can test both video and creatives at the same time. I would advise stay away from that. You can test it, but I would advise stay away from that. Just because if it does work, you won't know why it worked. You want to know why every single ad worked, so you can replicate success, right? But if you want to test it and you have the budget, you want to go and play with the budget, by all means, go ahead. But my advice is stick to image ads, because we're trying to scale. So we need to do things that are essentially we need to do things that allow us to predict future outcomes, right? So we can't be testing the images and videos I send out. You could if you want, but I wouldn't advise you do that. But that's that, right? So that's that. So that's everything in this part. That's the end. So now we're gonna move on to how to optimize. So once you launch the ads, how should you go about optimizing the ads? When should you turn the ads off? When should you keep it running? When should you promote to the winning ad set? How do we dictate whether one ad is performing and should be promoted, and whether one ad should be killed and is unprofitable, all of that. We're going to go through all of that in the next part. So that's that for this. And this brings us to the end of the video. I really hope you enjoyed it. If you're looking for free specific help with your digital marketing efforts, feel free to book a free consultation call with us. To do that, all you need to do is click the first link in the description of this video, choose the date, and fill in a short questionnaire about your business. An IDMA growth consultant will get a call with you to give you advice and actionable steps to solve any specific digital marketing problem you're currently facing with your e-commerce brand. Now, full disclosure, at the end of the consultation call, if our growth consultants determine that your brand meets our required standards, then we might consider a partnership with you. At IDMA, we do not consider a partnership with every brand owner. In fact, we only partner with brand owners that are in a position to rapidly scale their brands with the help of our growth team. With that being said, book a consultation with us to get free specific help with your digital marketing efforts. Thank you for watching this video. Take care.